Hello, I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and today I am here to talk to you about hair porosity. I have a question from my email box, and let's get right to the question. It says, great info as always. Well, thank you very much. I have a question about porosity. How can I check if I have high or low porosity? So that's going to be a big question there. So let's go on and highlight this area. She wants to know if you have high or low. Okay. And also, I have fine hair. There are 3 different textures. I want to kind of address textures as well. So let's highlight that. Very loose in the back, tight in the middle, and front mixed. My whole head, however, is very cottony. Thanks so much. Okay, let's start with porosity. And remember, lisa@lisaackberry.com is my email address, and www.lisaackberry.com is my web address. Okay, so let's start with, let's went too high. Let's start with porosity. Hair porosity deals with how your hair absorbs and or retain its moisture. Okay, so that's one important, your moisture levels. So your hair porosity is going to deal with how fast you absorb them, whether you can absorb them or the moistures or not, or products, mainly hair products, water, whatever is absorbed, liquids, how fast you absorb them, whether you retain them once you absorb them, and that pretty decides what your moisture levels will be. Okay, let's start with high porosity. High porosity equals when the hair absorbs your products quickly and then they just seem to disappear. I'm going to take one of these berries out. She wants to write a few notes just to keep me organized, just so that you guys will have something to go back and look at. Okay, so when your hair absorbs the products quickly and they just seem to disappear, almost as quick as they were applied. In that case, you have very porous hair. Now, what do I mean by that? You can put a product on your hair. It seems soft at the time if it's a moisturizer. It seems shiny at the time if it's an oil. Then a few minutes later, your hair is dull again, or your hair is dry feeling and brittle feeling again. That's a very porous head of hair. So what's really happening with that hair when it's that porous? That means your cuticle layers are open, and they're open very wide. It's filled up quickly with that particular product because the cuticle layers are open wide, or they're damaged. So they're not compact around the cortex, so they're open wide or they're damaged. The cuticle is supposed to open and close around the entire shaft, the cortical fibers. When it won't do that, then you're going to have a problem with your products not staying on the hair. So you can't really use the product because it's just going to dissipate almost. All right? So that's the problem. Now, let's go to the next one, and then we're going to talk about what to do about that. Low porosity is when you cannot absorb products. In many cases, there are 2 main reasons why you can't absorb product. Number 1, your porosity will be low in your hair if you have super, super tight cuticles. That means your product, you see that a lot in very straight Asian hair. The light reflects from it, so it appears to be very healthy and shiny, and actually it is, because a tight cuticle will give you a good elasticity, and you should do very well with a very tight cuticle. Most folks with low porosity seems to retain their moisture level. They don't seem to have as major problem with it, but a very tight cuticle. The other reason why you can have low porosity is because you have a negative buildup on the hair shaft. That's why co-washing and no pooing, it's very problematic, because you can put so much product in your hair that it fills that cuticle up, or it smears the hair, creating a solid shield of what I call cosmetic pollutants. Once those cosmetic pollutants are there, then that hair is going to it's going to be a major problem with absorbing the liquids. So everything gets on the top and it just kind of beads off the top. It does not go in. So that could be a problem if you're trying to hydrate your hair or you're trying to even color your hair. It's very challenging to get the hair to color because the cuticle is so tight. So the ability to absorb your moisture or your products are not there. So you have a poor ability or low ability. Normal porosity, would be the ideal way you want your hair. Your cuticle layer is supposed to open and close, depending on contact. When it's wet, it slightly opens so it receives that moisture. So you have the normal ability to absorb liquids. The hair colors quickly. It's usually hair that's in the best condition because it's doing exactly what that hair shaft is supposed to do. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the ways you can find out how you have high or low or normal porosity. Basically, what you've heard me say. If you put a product on your hair, any hair product, watch how your hair responds to that hair product. There are many things online tell you how you can do this, but this is one of the best ways because you're really dealing with hair products in most cases. When you have a hair product, if it absorbs quickly and it dissipates quickly, then that's going to be a problem with high porosity. What do you do about that? Then you need to start correcting your cuticle damage. The way you do that, there's a delicate protein and moisture level within the hair shaft that will cause the cuticle layer to draw properly compact, become more compact, where it can open and close as it should around the cortex. So that's on the cuticle layer, and there's a delicate protein and moisture level that must stay balanced. This is why you always hear me say use your conditioners that have protein for strength to make the hair strong. The cortical fibers are the hair is mostly composed of protein. Then you want to have moisture to hydrate the hair to balance. When the way you do this is by deep conditioning your hair. So you want to apply your protein and moisture conditioner to stabilize the strand. You apply the conditioner to the hair. Once you apply the conditioner, put a plastic cap on, sit in the dryer for 10 minutes. Take the plastic cap off, go back, put the conditioner on. Look for the areas where it looked like it absorbed quickly, where it looks like you never put conditioner on. Reapply that conditioner to your hair. That is going to fill that hair up and do some repair work because the one thing about protein, it will help to strengthen, mean repair. It's damaged, the cuticle is you're not going to be able to take cuticle layers and put them back on your head, but you can help to patch and repair. And this will keep you from having such high porosity on your hair shaft. Okay, so once you do that, then you're going to sit back under the dryer again for another 10 minutes. If you do that until the hair stops absorbing its conditioners, then you're going to find that your porosity will become more equal. Okay? If you're going to look at correcting a problem with low porosity, then you're going to have to look at some things and think about it because really when you have low porosities, your cuticles are very closed. The products sit on top of the hair. Water tends to bead off the hair. It takes longer times to dry, but it looks healthy, but it doesn't have, and really if it looks healthy, many will say it doesn't have the elasticity, but really it will have elasticity because the hair cuticle is tight and that helps with elasticity. Sometimes it does have a problem with volume because it's such a flat layer and you may have a problem with volume. So really you basically want to do things like steam treatments. When you put your conditioners on, you want to make sure that do things like detoxing, or it's a way that I call it detoxing, but we do in our clinic, but there's things you can do at home. You can put like your clarifying shampoo on your hair, and then once you put your clarifying shampoo on, sit under a preheated dryer. Allow the dryer to heat up to a high temperature where you start to sweat. What that's going to do is kind of detox out your cuticle layers of your strand. It's going to help to also detox your scalp as well. Afterwards, then you're ready to use a protein and moisture conditioner while that cuticle is slightly open, and that's going to help to increase the elasticity and help with your porosity. With normal porosity, you just continue to deep condition twice a week. It's best to keep your porosity normal, and that should do it. Well, let's see if we had any other questions. Make sure we're through with all the questions, and then we're going to make sure that you get my email. It says, now as far as your texture, I did want to deal with that. Texture deals with the size of your hair strand. Texture does not deal with how it's shaped. So there's texture, size of the strand, type, how the hair is shaped. So if you have fine, medium, or coarse hair in 3 different areas, then we can address that. Remember, the larger the strands are, the more the strands can tolerate heat or other things that you do to your hair. The smaller the strand is, the less it can tolerate because it will easily burn or it will easily break. If the hair is very spiral, very tightly coiled, then you need to make sure that you keep in mind that if you have to handle that hair using your fingers and your thumb just to smooth products in so that that hair, because it's tightly coiled, will not break. You won't pull and snag at it. And I have more information on detangling and those types of things. Also information on textures and type. But I wanted to make sure I got all this information in about porosity. When you say my whole head, however, is very cottony, you want to do your deep conditioning and your daily moisturizing. Those things will help to control your hair, that spongy cotton feel to your hair. You will help to balance. Well, I'm Lisa Ackberry, your hair doctor, and remember, you can reach me on at lisaAckberry.com by emailing me, keep the questions coming, or www.lisaackberry.com. Thank you so much, and I'll look forward to your questions real soon.